Can you feel your heart burning? Can you feel the struggle within? The fear within me is beyond anything your soul can make. You cannot kill me in any way that matters. If you are conversant with internet memes, you'll recognize that as a line from the mushroom meme, where the explanation for the meme is that decay extends as an extant form of life. There is something really freaky about mushrooms, and I think it's obvious by now that one of the things that Matsumoto really tapped into to make Kaiju number 8, the manga, resonate with the human psyche is that sense of decay bringing forth life. Decay is a different part of life. Decay is death, and how it all overlaps when our bodies fall down into the soil and become the building blocks of new life through the intervention of these fungus that can crawl into our bodies, and their spores can live in us while we are alive, and then they take over after we're dead. That is terrifying. Decay exists as an extant form of life. And yet it's something that we all deal with. There is something horrifying about mushrooms, even before you get into the really weird ones. And that is what Matsumoto's really tapped into, and this is going to be, well, let's get going. Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. We are going to do our spoiler-free review of Kaiju number 8, chapter 117. We've come a long way, baby. Many moons ago, I put out a video talking about what at the time was a theory. My theory was, it was unconfirmed at the time, that Kaiju number 8 had Kaiju degeneration powers. That blue lightning that Kaiju number 8 exuded had the power to disrupt Kaiju tissue growth. Now, there had been a few clues, but they were very subtle panels that focused in on how the tissues of the Kaiju reacted after Kaiju number 8 had punched them. And in of itself, this was not nearly enough of a clue to manifest this idea, but given the fact that Kaiju number 9 had felt the blows and had said, something's wrong, I'm not regenerating properly, way back in chapter 19, I put 2 and 2 together, and I noticed that this was part of a larger pattern. Kaiju number 9 was a pale horse mirror, a death mask that mimicked Kaiju number 8. Kaiju number 8, as terrifying as he is, manifests as a healthy being of his sort. His outer body appears to be made of muscles that are strong and taut and healthy. Yeah, he doesn't have skin, but his muscle structure is that of a very healthy mammal. And he has these big glowing blue eyes, and his face and his body is jet black, and the only white parts of his body, the bone-like face, again is bone, healthy bone for the most part. You look at it and there's nothing repulsive about Kaiju number 8. He's terrifying, but not repulsive. Meanwhile, and then we have this clue that says, and he has a power that degenerates Kaiju flesh. Then you have Kaiju number 9. His body is soft and pliant like fungus matter, something that inherently repulses humans. The only time human flesh looks like that is when it's literally rotting off of a dead corpse. And his eyes are tiny and black and hard to see. And as you know, if you've taken any drawing class, big glowing eyes are... those are neotenous tendencies, and neotenous means looks like a baby. And when we see big glowing eyes, we like that thing better than if it has tiny pinprick eyes, tiny shifty eyes. Tiny eyes are terrifying to humans, well, rats, mice. There are many creatures, parasites that crawl into our bodies that have these tiny pinprick eyes. And so, Kaiju number 9, who clearly had the ability to regenerate Kaiju tissue, was a sort of a mirror, mirroring in the opposite direction Kaiju number 8's abilities. That was when I said, okay, if Kaiju number 9 is a mirror of Kaiju number 8, and Kaiju number 9 has the ability to regenerate Kaiju tissue, it makes sense that Kaiju number 9 has the ability to regenerate Kaiju tissue. It makes sense that Kaiju number 8 has the ability to degenerate Kaiju tissue. And then we have that fully revealed in chapter, 60 odd, after Kaiju number 9 has absorbed the general director, and when Kaiju number 8 and Narumi are battling Kaiju number 9. We see their powers going head to head. Again, I'm going to try very hard to make this a spoiler-free review. So we have Matsumoto, who is a master at laying out clues beforehand, but still managing to keep the secret until the time when it's best to reveal it. And so way back 50 chapters ago, it was revealed to us that yes, Kaiju number 8 does have a Kaiju degeneration power. And we know that the little guy, the tiny little larva Kaiju that started all of this, which kind of looks like a dragonfly larvae of sort, or a 17-year cicada larvae, has the desire to kill Kaiju, and has certain powers and capabilities that make it an excellent Kaiju killer. We also learned in the following chapters that Kaiju number 9 is a mushroom, a fruiting body of a much larger underground Kaiju life form that exists underground in sort of a dormant state. And what we know as Kaiju number 9 is just the little mushrooms that it sends up, in the same way that real life fungus exists underground as massive networks bigger than cities, and only send up these tiny mushrooms when they need to reproduce or to make more of themselves. And then we get revealed that this happened by the dead bodies of Kaiju combining to form one major Kaiju. When a Kaiju dies, its body is able to be absorbed by this network of other Kaiju. Then in various things we found out that the humans are able to access Kaiju power by merging certain Kaiju tissues with the human body. And if you've read any of the extra chapters, specifically Jin Narumi's backstory, you find out that certain humans have a compatibility with Kaiju tissues naturally, and that was the basis of the technology that allowed for the Kaiju weapon suit. All of this is leading to the big reveal in chapter 17. And once again, just as with previous reveals, in retrospect, it is perfectly obvious that is going on. This is not a Deus ex machina. It is a logical explanation given the previously established rules of this world. And it was beautiful. And I can't wait to get my script done for the full spoiler review. Definitely go read this chapter. I enjoy the science of this manga. I enjoy the writing of this manga. I enjoy the art of this manga. And I almost kind of wish it was underappreciated, but the storytelling in this manga, even though it is on the surface, it seems like such a vanilla Shonen Jump manga, but again, I go back to the rule from C.S. Lewis. Don't worry about being original. Never worry that your story is original enough. You focus on using the rules of writing, consistent writing. Make every scene do 3 things. Stay consistent to your world building. Make your storytelling a representation of reality. You're allowed one giant leap away from reality at the beginning of the story, and everything else has to stay in alignment with that. If you follow those rules, you will be able to take the most basic storyline and make a piece of artwork out of it. And that is what Matsumoto has done. But what do you think, my wonderful viewers? What did you think of the big reveal in chapter 117? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Hit that like and subscribe button, and peace out, my wonderful viewers.